I got 3 of these charger where the only difference is the color. They all charged up with no major issues and do have a large enough battery capacity for everyday use. The plastic housing feels pretty nice and strong, and the design is nice and simple. Usability is pretty straightforward since it only has a single power button that will initiate charge of external devices or turn on the built-in light. I also really like that the solar panel has an LED indicator to show when the unit is charging with the sun. I have a USB current tester that I like to use when a device seems to have battery issues. I mostly test phone batteries to see what capacity the OEM battery has. To test these banks, I first drained one completely, then left it charging to 100%. I did notice that the charger needs to be used both with a good short cable and good power adapter with a high output rating. I used my Apple adapter at first and it got hot after a while and kept stopping. The Apple adapter is rated at 5V1A. I then used a Qualcomm 305V3A adapter and it charged without any heat issues. After a couple of hours the charger completed charging at about 16,000 mAh. I then tested the power output by charging something else until the charger ran out of power and I got 12,700 mAh. The output seems consistent with the input power because output power will always be less and some power is lost trough heat during a charge. As far as the claimed 30,000 mAh, this might be true because new batteries usually require a few charge cycles to get accurate readings, but I think the battery would be closer to 20,000 than 30,000 mAh. I would have to test it again after more use. As for the solar charging feature, I tested it by leaving the charger outside in direct sunlight where I could see it on my security cameras for time reference. With a fully drained charger I left it at exactly 11:27 a.m. and picked it up at exactly 6:14 p.m. With a mostly sunny day I was able to get a bit over 500 mAh out of it. For being only solar power I think it's a good amount of power. It will definitely get you out of an emergency if your phone is drained. Overall the charger seems to be working fine, and even if it had a 20,000 mAh battery it's still a large enough battery for most devices. The numbers on the photos are approximate but should be closer to the stated numbers. If the battery says 30,000 then it should have gotten at least to 28,000. The time and amps are irrelevant since I used different power adapters, so the time was longer than it could be and I took the picture when. For under $40 this Tranmix battery pack is awesome. You can charge by either the sun, or plugging it in. While the solar charging does work, it takes a bit longer to charge it that way. It also has to be in full sunlight. Even if it's a bit overcast it will not charge at all. The charging capacity is pretty darn good on this too. I can charge my iPhone just about 3 times off of it, and it can even charge my laptop enough to use it for about 30 minutes. It's built very solid and has rubber bumpers along the sides and bottom corners so that it's protected in case of a drop. The same rubber material is used for a removable cover that protects the outlets. It also has a flashlight on it that's really bright at the highest setting. Almost the whole flat side on the opposite side of the solar charger is one big flashlight. It has 2 light intensities and 2 flashing settings. Overall this thing is awesome and I definitely recommend. Click link in description for more reviews.